So what if I told you that there was a way to increase productivity, reduce depression, and improve your mood in less than a half hour a day? Hey, it's Joe Justice here, and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers podcast. Today we're going on a little bit of a walk and talk together. I want to let you know I'm here at Wine Cellar Park in Dunbar. It's a great park here in the Kanawha Valley. Going on a little walk here this morning, and this could be a little feature that we're going to be doing here moving forward every now and then, a little one-on-one time with your man Joe Justice here with the Kanawha Valley Hustlers podcast. So I want you to stay with me to the end here, and I promise you I'm going to keep all this under 10 minutes, and I promise you that I'm going to pay off that claim that there's something that you can do every day that can, reduce stress, increase productivity, and do everything. You just make sure you listen. And while you're at it, if you know someone that's having a hard time with productivity, stress, depression, I want you to share it with them. I want to encourage you to do that. So what am I talking about? It's real simple. I'm talking about taking a nature hike, walking in nature. It's been proven by all kinds of studies that, walking in nature, some people call it a nature bath. It really helps improve your mood. It helps decrease depression. It also helps spur ideas. So when I'm talking about and when I'm talking about like creating productivity, when I'm talking about being productive, so probably the first thing that you're thinking is eliminating depression. Okay, I can buy that. Reducing stress. Yeah, going for a walk reduces stress. But what's this whole thing about increasing productivity? How do you increase productivity by going on a walk? So many great minds, one of the most famous being Albert Einstein, attributed walking to coming up with ideas. He was really big on if he needed to solve a problem, he had actually, interestingly enough, he had like a specific walk that he would go on to kind of get the mental juices flowing. So how does that work? Have you ever thought about that? And you might have heard something like that, something like, somebody go on a walk. Sometimes people listen to music to get ideas. So think about that for just a little bit. Let me give you a little context that might help you kind of put these pieces together. Productivity, depression, stress reduction, all of these things. How does it work? How does it all operate? So I want you to think about your left brain and your right brain. Everybody you've got two hemispheres in your brain. You got a left brain and right brain. And most people think of that as the left brain is analytical and the right brain is creative. That's a really, really common way that people conceptualize the left brain and right brain concepts. But that's not exactly right. Take a look at a book like The Master and His Emissary, and there's some other, kind of research papers and stuff out there that kind of talk about this. It's a little bit closer to say that the left brain deals with known and the right brain deals with the unknown. It's also kind of works to say that the left brain deals with specificity and the right brain deals with novelty. And I think all of those are kind of true. And they're kind of getting at the truth, but me personally, I don't think that's exactly it. I think that what you're dealing with your right brain is your right brain kind of absorbs everything. It kind of understands everything. You got to consider the world that we're in is very complicated. Okay, so you've got trees, you've got birds, you've got plants, you've got bugs, you've got cars, you've got all these things going on. That's just in your immediate surrounding. That's not counting like what's going on in the rest of the world. That's just immediately around you, right? So your right brain kind of absorbs all of that and it's inputting all that. The problem with that is you can't do anything with that. It's too much information. There's too much going on. There's too much happening, right? So that's what your left brain does. Your right brain kind of absorbs everything, understands everything, and works with everything, while your left brain utilizes that, right? So think of the left brain more like steering or more like pointing things in a direction. So think of your right brain as the visionary part of your brain, and your left brain is the kind of the operative, okay? Your right brain, you need that vision, you need that direction. And the left brain, you also equally need that operation. How else do you get things done in the world? Everybody has an example of, the people that talk all day long and they talk about doing this and they talk about doing that, but then they never actually do anything. That's all right brain activity. And same thing, people that obsess over little things, they get obsessive with little things, but don't ever see anything big picture, or they get, the best way to think about it is when they get really myopic. Everybody has coworkers that are like that, where they're just focused in on their own little teeny tiny area and they don't see the whole world, they don't see the whole picture. That's all left brain, right? So you need them both, and they're both very important. And you can see from that description that I just laid out there, you can see how you get the creative and the analytical kind of heuristic behind that, right? You get the idea that, being able to conceptualize things, kind of big picture vision, that's creative. Being able to narrowly focus in on one thing and accomplish things, that's analytical. Like I say, that's not really exactly what's going on, I don't think, with the left and the right brain. But I think that's really important to understand. So what am I getting at here? Our modern world is super analytical. It's super well defined. You take a look at your office space, for example. I bet the walls are all straight up and down. They're all the same color. You probably have maybe a couple little things that differentiate the spaces maybe. Maybe you get some knickknacks. Maybe you've got some decorations, things like that, but I guarantee you that those have been there for a while. It's not like those are getting changed in the middle of the night or anything, am I right? So you're dealing with this incredible amount of sameness, and you're all left brain. And that lack of novelty can really be detrimental to your mood and, of course, to productivity, because you're never getting any creative ideas. Now, what happens when you go out into nature? What immediately happens when you go out into nature? Everything around you is different. The colors are different. Even the same trail that you walk on today, you've walked on that trail 100 times, but it's a different trail. There's different trees, there's different leaves, there's different bugs, there's different animals. The whole idea that you can never walk in the same river twice. So that begins to stimulate that right part of your brain. And that seems to get it active and get it moving. So I want to encourage you, if you're watching this, to share it with somebody that you think might find this explanation a little helpful and might want to try working with this every day to make it a reality of yours. Get outside, do 20 minutes a day of novelty. Walk out, and I do think it does matter if you walk out in nature. I think that's the difference between walking in a city and walking in a park. I think that they're different things. In a city, everything's man-made. Everything's straight up and down. Everything is structured. It's not the same. I don't think that you have to do it at the same time every day. I don't think that you have to do it at the same place. I don't think any of that kind of stuff. I think it's important to get out there, get around, get moving. So that's the big picture thing. So that comes into the next obvious question is, how do we utilize that? I just conceptualize everything down for you with the right brain as you're listening to this. And by the way, if you are watching this, you can also subscribe to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers on your favorite podcast app or anywhere else. But what do you do to actually implement this? Okay, I've talked about it now for about 10 minutes. What do you actually do? Well, to actually do it, start with 20 minutes a day, okay? Start with 20 minutes a day. I don't care if it's in the morning. I don't care if it's in the evening. It's easier to build habits. Your left brain works a lot better with habits. Your left brain likes the same thing. It likes to operate in that space. So make it 8 o'clock every morning for 20 minutes. Go for a walk, okay? Make it something like that. I want to encourage you to do that and to be structured with it and to feed that left hemisphere with that habitual 20 minutes a day routine, and to feed that right hemisphere with all of the novelty around you, all of the changes, the fresh air, and everything else, all the other positive, great things that come along with the world, okay? I want to encourage you to do that. And I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that some of this information that I've given you has been useful for you, and that you get inspired from this and are able to share it with some people. Feel free to share the link. Go to joejustice.org and you can get the links to the podcast. You can also find the podcast in your favorite podcast app. You can write a review, and you can, follow for more of my podcasts. I think I'm going to be doing more of these walk and talk things. I kind of like it. And, it helps to get the brain working. So I want to thank you so much, and hope that you found this helpful. I want to ask you to post a comment at the bottom. Give me your big takeaway. Is there anything that you really took away that you really found interesting about my talk today? Hope to see you again next time, and keep on watching the Kanawha Valley Hustler. And I want to remind you, this is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.